Hi, I'm Linda.
And I'm Vicky.
And we are Partners in Crime. Today we're going to do updates on Suzanne Morphew. There is some new information that came out, so we want to just go over some of the items that we did find. So 3 months after Suzanne Morphew did not return from a solo bike ride per Barry, family members are speaking out in an effort to revive the search for her.
Yeah, it's her brother.
Her brother and Andy.
And her father.
Yeah, he says, my sister was the sweetest person ever, and anyone would have been happy to be friends or neighbors with her. He also said she has 2 daughters without answers right now, and his father, 87, has cancer, and he needs answers. And they really want to give him answers before he does pass away. And he said he's not going to give up. So they are starting to get a group together. They're in Indiana, but they're going to try to get a group together to start searching for her in Colorado.
Right. He's put out requests for anybody who's interested that might have an ATV or a drone or a motorcycle that would wish to join that search. He's hoping to have at least 1,000 people.
Yeah, and we'll put that information on the screen at the end too, and in the description box, so if anyone is interested in that area. He did say that he went to the area after where his sister's bike was found the day after her disappearance, and he says he is positive that this is not the case, that it was not because of a animal attack or that someone abducted her. So it said an animal did not attack her because there was absolutely no blood evidence and no tracks on the ground, no scent from an animal. He says, I stood there and looked and I realized that nobody rode over the side of that hill. There would have been signs of a struggle or you would have been skinned up. So Moorman and his brother-in-law both searched the area where Suzanne's bike was found for any signs of a clue. I said to Barry, hey, I don't think she fell off the hill on the bicycle or rode over the edge. I believe a human being threw this down there. So he did say that to Barry, and that's what a lot of people are speculating anyway. Moorman said he has not been in contact with Barry or his nieces since shortly after his sister's disappearance, and addresses Barry directly in the interview. And this is what he's saying to Barry. Please, Barry, if you could see this, I would really love it if you would take the time to revisit the authorities and go over everything once again. Take a voice analysis and a lie detector test and clear yourself. Put my mind at ease and everybody out there's mind at ease if you want to shut the rumors down. That's the way you do it. You need to find your wife. That should be your only goal. That should be your only goal, is to find your wife. That doesn't sound right, but
yeah.
And whatever you're asked to do by the authorities is what you should do. If you're not guilty, step up to the plate. Moorman doesn't have much hope that his sister is alive, but is determined to find her one way or another. He is asking anyone with information to call the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, the CBI, at the tip line.
He did have that candlelight vigil for her, and Barry did not attend, or the daughters, as far as I understand. And he did make a request to the daughters to get in touch with their grandfather. He hasn't heard from them.
Wow.
And he wants to hear from the granddaughters. So
yeah, and I go on Reddit, and we have some things that people have put on there. This is from a notice that someone posted, and it says, as someone with connections to the family, I have to say that if I came home to find my wife missing with no trace as to where she could be, I would cooperate with the police, But the longer it dragged on, I would become more cautious because I know they have pressure to close the case, even if it means pinning it on someone who is innocent. If you don't believe me, then why are there people released from jail all the time and they say, we got the wrong guy? Oops. At this point, I think Barry should keep looking and definitely don't impede any investigations. But if they wanted to talk to me again, I'd get a lawyer. So when people post this stuff online, I always take it with a grain of salt, and I don't know if everybody else does. But when you have people that are connected to other people, they can put themselves online as anybody. And as someone with connections to the family, how do we know it's not the nephew that has posted stuff or Barry himself?
Right.
So, or a close friend that wants to shut it down, doesn't want anyone looking at him. So I find it a very hard to believe that someone that is saying this kind of thing, looking at all of the information that everyone else is looking at, how they could say that. So
no, I don't know how they could say that either.
Yeah.
And which each day that goes by, with every little thing that is coming out, I think the walls are closing in on Barry.
Another post that I found is someone said, historically, there are some very fine examples of innocence behavior in familial disappearances. Mark Kloss, Mark Lunsford, and Ed Smart were looked at suspiciously by the media and law enforcement when their family members disappeared. That is true, but they were still out there, and they still talked to the media because their main focus was to find their loved ones.
And I think that's just the routine process. They look at the people that are close to them. And it's not to make them seem guilty. I've said this before. It's to rule them out.
Right.
So, Ed Smart, he was questioned, but I don't think they were focused on him. They really did a search for her.
They did, but I'm sure because we don't see how they might put pressure on these people because they don't have the information. This person also said, I guess the difference between these three men's behavior versus Barry's behavior is that these three men were innocent. So they said they were willing to weather this suspicion of others because their love and devotion to their missing family outweighed their discomfort. So that's where the difference is.
Right.
And I think if you are innocent, you will weather that discomfort because your main goal is just to find your family.
I would be so desperate. Just like her brother is doing. He is, pulling out all stops to try to find her. And who wouldn't if it was a family member that you cared about?
Right.
So.
And we do have some more breaking news, and this is kind of a little bit more regarding
his alibi.
Yes, and things that they found. So the husband of missing Colorado mother Suzanne Morphew stayed in a Denver hotel prior to her disappearance and left his room smelling of chlorine, according to a report. Morphew's husband Barry was in Broomfield, Colorado at the time, working on a landscaping job some 150 miles away for a transportation company, RTD Denver. So that's their transportation company.
What happened to the fire training?
Yeah, that was the initial thing that was thrown out there.
That he said.
Yeah. So Jeff Puckett is a co-worker of Barry, and he said that Barry summoned him to the Holiday Inn room on May 10th. Where Morphew stayed the night before and left behind a pile of mail as well as an intense smell of chlorine. He said he was told the landscaping work Morphew needed help with was urgent. So he got there and he said it smelled like chlorine really bad. It was his room and he had taken a shower and towels were all over the floor. He said that he was there for 2 days and did no work, but it was so urgent for him to come out, so he kind of felt like he was an alibi.
he was trying to use him to establish
Right.
an alibi.
Yes.
That he was there for a job.
Right. Just so he had this person saying, yes, I saw him there, or I was there with him. A manager at the hotel where rooms go for as little as $92 a night said workers do not use chlorine to clean rooms. Security footage from the hotel from the weekend of Morphew's disappearance has since been turned over to the FBI. So that's over to the authorities.
They did show a picture of the pool in this hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, maybe the chlorine smell came from the pool, but how many of us have that strong of a smell?
That's the thing. You go swimming, and he just showered, so that chlorine smell would be off of him.
You would think, but he said it really was an overtaking kind of smell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he did say he was in the hotel for 2 days and didn't work. And he did say, Puckett did say that he felt like it was an alibi.
Mm-hmm.
So, and his version of events have been shared with investigators. Yeah, so.
There we go, Barry.
Yep.
I think those walls are definitely closing in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, there was a friend of Barry and Suzanne's that said that they seemed like the good model family, and that family structure where the husband loves being the provider and the wife loves being a homemaker, they fit that to a T. The friend was Jeff Isles, and he said they're close, a good model family. Isles says of Morphew and her husband and their 2 daughters, Mallory and Macy. So he's saying that they are what they appear to be. But the family member, there was also a family member who spoke out on the condition they did not want to be, they wanted to be anonymous, told the news station that Barry Morphew had twice refused a polygraph and claimed that data from his pickup truck did not match what he had told investigators. So I think when they were discussing the dispute between the information for the vehicle and what he told them, it's kind of not jiving. And this came from Fox 21 News, and it says they did not elaborate on how the data from Barry's truck does conflict with what he told them. Well, does conflict with what he told them. So, and in May, a relative also said from Suzanne's extended family, they were in the dark about the missing person's investigation in the beginning. They also said that while Suzanne and Barry seem like a happy couple, sometimes we don't know people as well as we think we do. And right. I think that everyone would agree with that one. The relative also said that Barry could be somewhat controlling and indicated that Suzanne, who has been treated for cancer, may not have been as enthusiastic about moving to Colorado as Barry was. He's been in charge of what happens for a long time, the family member says. So, yep. And we do have something else that I pulled up. I thought this was just food for thought. Do it when the kids are out of town. This is how someone would hide the truth and create doubt that they harmed Suzanne Morphew. Do it when the kids are out of town. Create an alibi being out of town from where she disappeared. Ensure cameras at home were not working. Leave Suzanne's cell phone at home. Don't share info on the last time she was seen. Leave her bike somewhere close by to lead people to think she was taken. Offer a large reward to create impression of a ransom. Have others be the first to find out she was gone and let them report her to police. Wait to talk to media to compose thoughts. Talk to a random stranger, this is Tyson Draper, to shape the public narrative, and that's what we've said as well. Have friends or family create posts on the line accusing others of her disappearance and from other posts. Send an email to your former church with specific theory. Cat dragged her off within days of her disappearance. I didn't know that happened.
No, that's news.
Visit local shop owners in the area describing what Suzanne was wearing when she went missing, which we did talk about that as well. So, I did not know about that email that was sent to their former church.
No, but that is an outline of Barry's behavior. And in the very beginning, he waited a week before he did any kind of public display, any kind of public interview. It wasn't even an interview.
Right.
It was his own video broadcast.
On Facebook, yeah.
Right. And, when asked why he waited so long, he said it was just too soon. I'm like, too soon for what? We've said this before.
And that's why we turned to the other gentlemen who did have missing family members and were looked at, and it didn't matter. They were out there because they wanted to find them. And that's the big difference. And I think that says a lot about what Barry is doing,
right,
and what could have happened.
I think so too.
And with this chlorine smell, that makes me think that, is it chlorine bleach? Like, would they say it's a bleach smell or chlorine? I don't know what chlorine would do. Like,
it cleans up blood.
Chlorine bleach though, or just chlorine?
Was there a difference?
Well, yeah, because you use chlorine for your pool. That's not bleach.
Well, that was...
Because when people say it smells like bleach, they say bleach. They don't say chlorine.
Well, that's kind of like Kleenex and tissue.
Okay.
People will use the brand name.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was...
I would say, give me Kleenex when I really want
a tissue.
A tissue.
Okay.
So I think that could be the inference.
Okay, so maybe that's what people call bleach, chlorine.
Right, but...
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I thought chlorine from a pool is not going to smell like bleach. The chlorine bleach that we use to clean with.
Right. So yeah. Which one was it? Was it the chlorine smell from a pool, or was it a chlorine smell from bleach? Because if it was from the pool, again, he showered, so he's not going to smell that much like it. But
yeah, I think
I'm a little confused by that. But that was something breaking that was online.
And they did ask the hotel manager,
and he said they don't clean with
They don't clean with that. So I would think the manager would say, yeah, but we, he's picking up the towels. This is not chlorine from the pool.
Yeah.
This is a stronger chlorine.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
bleach.
I just don't understand that. I mean, apparently it means something, or they wouldn't have put it out there. Well, that's not necessarily true, but it makes people think. So that's probably something.
Right.
So we're still hoping, like everyone else, that she is found. And it's so sad that her brother doesn't think that they will find her alive. So
it doesn't sound like it. It's been, 4 months now?
Yeah.
And if she was abducted,
nobody has come out to say we have her.
Yeah, no one came out with, for a ransom.
And why would you automatically put that out there for
him to say that? You mean?
Well, to put all that money out there. They say you usually, say a couple $1,000s or something. You don't put out $100,000 to begin with. So that's again, it sounds like it's a narrative he's trying to put out there.
I think it was. I think it definitely was.
Yeah.
So, if I'm going to have a lot of egg on my face if he's not guilty. And,
well, I think a lot of us will. I think that's where most of us are going.
I am there.
Yeah.
I really do think
it's so hard to believe.
He is responsible for whatever happened to her.
And I still go back to the point that the authorities aren't even telling us to look for someone.
Right.
That says a lot, because if there was a boogeyman out there, they would want everyone to really be diligent and be careful. And, and they never ever said that.
No.
So.
But then again, they're not saying much.
Yeah. Yeah. But if there was something like that, they would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they would keep that quiet.
Right.
So.
Right.
But that's what we have for Suzanne, and if we have anything else that comes up, we will try to put this out for our viewers.
For sure. And don't forget to subscribe. I know someone said, I really like your show, but I have a hard time finding you.
Yeah.
If you're subscribed and you hit that little bell, you'll be notified of our videos, and you'll have an easier time finding us.
And if you can share it, then other people that, you know, might really enjoy our videos will be able to find us. So, yeah, if you could do that too, we'd really appreciate it. And again, we love all of the comments. And I know personally, I haven't had a lot of time to get back to people, and I promise I will. This will be a nice weekend to try to reach out to as many people as I can. And I know Vicki has reached out to a bunch of people.
I appreciate all your well wishes about my injury.
She's doing okay.
Yeah.
I don't have her legs, so she's getting around a lot better.
I'm scooting around fine. Thanks for you, everyone, for your concern. I appreciate it.
All right, so until next time, bye.
The brother of missing Chaffee County mother Suzanne Morphew spoke at a vigil on Saturday in his hometown in Indiana.
We wanted to do something nice for Suzanne. Hopefully she can feel and hear our prayers. I'm sure she will. And my intentions are to do a prayer vigil tonight and to drum up support for a September 23rd army of people to go out and find my little sister.
More than 3 months have passed since Morphew reportedly left home on a bike ride and didn't return.
The investigators have asked us to stay reasonably quiet, and we have. But I'm past that point now. It's time to get this out in the media and get some volunteers together.
Moorman was asked about the circumstances of Suzanne's disappearance.
Foul play, foul play. The bicycle was not ridden over the hill. It was thrown there by human hands. Suzanne would never leave her home or her daughters. There's just no way. And she's hidden way too well. A predator doesn't do that. A robber doesn't do that. This is something other than that.
He arrived to Salida the Monday after Mother's Day to help in the search.
I woke up that morning, I looked out the window of the place I was staying, and I just cried because the mountains were so big, and it was like looking for a needle in a haystack.
He says his next move was to go see where the bicycle was found.
I didn't physically get to see the bike, but I talked to the investigators. They told me at least the wheels weren't bent, nothing was tore up on the bike, and there was no signs of a struggle. And from that moment on, I thought sure that this was foul play.
Moorman says he has had very few conversations with Suzanne's husband, Barry Morphew.
Just says that she's the love of my life. I could never do this. But the problem I have with that is I don't feel like he's fully cooperated with investigators. He should have taken a lie detector and a voice analysis and anything else they asked him to do. And he's gone kind of quiet.
Any kind of animosity between each other in the marriage or anything?
Not up to this point. Now I think maybe. Because like I said, I think there's a friend that she texted a lot and talked to that she confided in. And maybe things weren't honky-dory.
Barry Morphew spoke to Fox 21's Lauren Scharf exclusively last month, saying he has continued to search for Suzanne despite the public's apparent perception he isn't doing enough.
I've never been asked to do a polygraph. There is nothing that I'm hiding. I have given 30 hours of testimony to the FBI and the CBI. I've answered every question, every single question.
Moorman says he has not spoken to Suzanne's daughters, but has a message for them.
It's been kind of silent out there, which is disappointing. But I hope that they're okay. And if they see this, please call your grandpa. He's very concerned about you.
Moorman says he has questions that need answers.
I do want to know what happened to her. I want to know why.
And he's asking for anyone who can help in the search.
We're going to gather four-wheelers. I need mountain bikers. I need hikers. I need rock climbers. I need cavers. I need divers. Could use some drone activity out there. That would be gratefully helpful. And if you come, bring your iPhone with you. Bring your cell phone, because they'll set up a grid search and they'll ping our phones as we move. They'll mark off areas and take us to another area. I have two of the Benghazi survivors that are going to help us out there. They're going to coordinate all the GPS. So this is going to turn into a huge effort, and I really need all the help I can get.
For Fox 21 Digital Now, I'm Amber Jo Cooper.